3 months, so I think it's a decent question to ask. How long did it take for you? So I'm at the moment. I'm just using one model, one process. How long did you spend on each individual model and process before you moved on to another model?
Some of them actually took a little bit longer because I was tinkering them much more than I should, and others were real fast because of the understanding I gained from the foundation that I picked up from just simply saying, okay, I'm going to get away from indicators. I'm going to start paying attention to time and what market moves are generally occurring around specific times. There was a large rush of like PD arrays that came out because of me focusing on very specifics. And when I was starting to see these characteristics, materialize and being led, to, say, hey, look here, all those types of things started to like speed up. I would have periods where the old stuff that discovered, I'd work with them and I'd try to make them better or try to improve them or try to add things to them and then just go back to saying, okay, well, this is all I could do with it consistently. So let's leave it to that. This is all it does. It doesn't do, you don't use a wrench as a hammer. And I was spending too much time trying to demand specific models or certain criteria beyond the scope of what would be used today in its final form with my material. And then I'd have a rush of all these things that would come at me at one time, and it was like it wasn't real continuous. Like every other month there was something new, and a new model would come real fast, or it'd be long periods where I wouldn't get anything at all. It's a varying type of thing, but the PD arrays really started to come in once I got about the basis of what I showed in my month 4 content. Once I had that framework, it was like I could see it in a way where I could communicate it and create a language around it. But before I had those very basic PD arrays that's in month 4 of my paid mentorship stuff on my YouTube channel, before that, I was spending too much time chasing things that were not really beneficial to me. And I wasted a lot of time doing that. So that's why it took me 6 years to kind of like iron out all the stuff and say, okay, this is all it's going to do. This is all I'm going to demand of that. And I guess I don't know if that answers your question, but it was not really um, I've never really recorded how much time I spent, or I guess I can go through all my journals, but good grief, that's a lot. That's a lot of research. I don't have
Wow.
I don't have the energy.
Just to think of that, Michael, for people to think of grasping what you're explaining right now, it's like I think instantly I think of the schematic of a breaker block, of a mitigation block, and just an order block, and how it can be reclaimed. And I think of all of these things that you have taught, and being the author, you've had to have some form of schematic, and you do with the language, and you're explaining it right now very vividly. And these are the images I'm getting. Like, how long did he take to determine what a breaker block is? This is very specific criterion around each and every one of your PD arrays. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. They're very, very specific if then occurrences throughout the market.
Mm.
I mean, I don't have anything to add on that. I'm just like really almost flabbergasted at almost like actually thinking about how you put that together, because I have no clue, but it's
It was crazy. It was a lot of stuff to keep organized. A lot of journaling and note taking and research, and then taking time. And again, a lot of this stuff was being done before electronic trading. Like it was being done in a means of me simply saying, okay, I'm going to watch this through a chart that I have to draw this chart out by hand. Like I have to get the open, high, low, and close and draw that out. And then I got to wait for data. When we started to have a little bit more resources, and I used a tool called Metastock, and I was able to download end of day data. And then by having that, I could look at what the intraday chart was doing, and then look for types of patterns, and then really focus in on time. And all these things started communicating in a way where it would give me, I use the term all the time, it's like a tapestry, like everything, like a quilt, like a well-made quilt. Every piece has its place, every piece has its purpose. And when you take a step back and you look at it, it's like, oh wow, like I didn't see that design there. But that's what it's like. That's what these markets are. They're 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 obviously, we say it all the time. It's a, you know, it's fractal. Okay, and what does that mean? Every component, every little thing that we see in price action is part of a larger whole. And when you can appreciate that, in the beginning, we really don't know what that means. And we can pretend that we do, because when we want to seem like we're outside the clique, we're outside the community. But it took a long time for me to determine what that was really entailing. What does it really mean when I could see something that was conceptually a small little piece of something? It's a one little cog inside of the greater machine. And when I was spending so much time worrying about that one individual little cog, I was oblivious to how it was part of something larger that made everything else click. It was like, oh, I know where this cog belongs in that time of the day, that time of the week, that week of the month, and that month of the year. And all these things started coming together. And then the epiphany was, is I'm looking at how all the puzzle pieces are there. And as long as I'm working around the border first, just like that's the best way you do a jigsaw puzzle, find all the smooth edges. Isn't that interesting? All the pieces that have a smooth edge. What do I teach you first? Look for the smooth edges. And that's how it came to me. That, just like that. And then all the other pieces in the middle, that's like intraday price action. But when you start seeing things that you are familiar with, what is that? What's the cover of the box? That's the picture of all the jigsaw puzzle pieces together. It's okay. Well, up here, I have an upper corner. All the upper corner smooth edges are there. So the border of that jigsaw puzzle is already in place. So look at the picture. That's your frame of reference. What pieces and colors are in that little corner? Find all the pieces that have that color in it. Segregate it. What are you doing? You're trading in a specific session. And then you're looking for cogs, little fractal pieces, little things that run for smaller bits of data inside the borders of that jigsaw. And I was treating it the same way every single day, just building on this, building on this. And there were some times where I thought I had a whole lot more data and information before I really did. And I had false starts in terms of eureka moments. Like, I got it figured out. And I really didn't have it yet. But I was working towards it. And I had days where I was, demanding something out of certain things I was working with, and they didn't deliver what I thought I was going to get from them. And I would cry literally in tears, and I'd be upset about it because I'm like, man, I thought it was going to be able to give me this, and it didn't. It fell short. And that's why I tell you all, don't demand so much when you're beginning, because you don't know where this is going to take you. You don't know the superpower that you're gaining. You don't know. You don't know how to use these superpowers. Okay, you're all mutants right now without any understanding of what you can do yet. But given enough time and relaxing, you'll be able to do all kinds of amazing things.
A puzzle. That inspiration. Inspiration.